First rebuttal.
Now, you brought up some really great points about the fact that our Constitution does state in the Second Amendment that we have the right to regulate militia, and I completely agree. We have the right to a regulated militia, meaning a governed, directly controlled, and controlled populace, an army force who is allowed to have firearms. That is not a civilian population who has free range to buy whatever civilian arms they may. But the Second Amendment is invalid because the definition of arms has changed. There's no way the Founding Fathers could have possibly predicted drones, missiles, nuclear bombs. Those are arms too. But the NRA seems to only think that those are guns. Now, the amendments have changed. We have restrictions on our First Amendment, do we not? We can't yell fire in a movie theater. You can't yell bomb on a plane. We have restrictions on our Third Amendment, which says that you can't search someone's house because it's their private property. But yet, if we have a warrant, if you have rightful reason to search someone's house, you can do that. There are restrictions upon our amendments for a reason because they provide a safer nation. There are restrictions upon freedom because we care more about civilian lives than we do about someone's free-range freedom. Now, an armed populace is detrimental to society. The fact is, now, Matt may allow you to think that this is used for self-defense, but the fact is that a gun in the home is 22 times more likely to be used in a suicide, 11 times more likely to be used in homicide, and 7 times more likely to shoot someone unintentionally than to be used in a defensive in a defensive case. So that means that only 0.8% of the time is there a justifiable homicide. It means by defense you kill someone. Only 0.8% of the time. Is it really worth all of the carnage to be able to have that protection for 0.8% of the time? The fact is that we're saving lives by taking guns off the streets. You look at places like Canada.
Time. Okay. You have a minute to prep.
Spencer, he thinks that the Constitution was created directly referring to muskets, and that's just completely wrong. The Second Amendment was completely referring to the idea of being able to stop a tyrannical government because it's happened in history. That's why the Constitution was formed. The Founding Fathers have lived through a government trying to take them over, and they devised the Constitution so that wouldn't happen again. And you're saying that that's not the right way to do it. You are saying that you have a better solution to that than them, and that's completely ignorant. Because
drones, nuclear bombs versus civilian arms.
If I needed a missile to stop my government from taking my freedoms, then I'm going to use a missile to stop them from taking my freedoms because, according to the Second Amendment, that's
civilian lives are less important than his right to own a gun.
But if you believe so much in saving lives, then why do you support abortion? Because in 2012,
sit down!
In 2012, 330,964 babies were killed from abortion. It's not right because Princeton University's science department just released a study in 2012.
Debate about abortion. I would love to debate you on abortion, but the fact is that you have no facts to support your cause, and so you are going to abortion to try and save yourself from some sort of fact
Let the man
is
finish.
logic, because you have no logic, so this is what you're deserting to. That's pathetic.
If you could please refrain from interrupting me again.
My pleasure.
While 333,964 babies were killed from abortions in 2012, only 31,000 people were killed from firearms.
100,000
If you're so concerned about saving lives, maybe you should attack the problem by stopping abortion. It seems you don't care about saving lives, but you care more about pushing the liberal agenda to give the government more power over people. That's your problem. You think you are so much smarter and everyone else is dumb that you can't trust the Americans with the power and the freedoms that was given to them by their founding fathers.
It's about safety, not trust.
No, you don't care about saving lives. You just want more power because
You think that your personal freedom is more important than your life, and your life. He would rather have you dead than to get rid of his guns, and that's a sad fact.
No, well, according to this fact over here,
There, all the way over there. Wow.
yeah,
Defense mechanism kicking in over here.
This is, yes.
436,000 crimes were committed with a firearm, while 990,000 were stopped.
And yet, only
to me-
0.8% of the time is it used in self-defense.
Oh, really? Because 990,000% of that. That's 223%
0.8%
increase.
of the time by the Center for Disease Control.
220 U.S. Department of Justice, who deals more with crime than the Centers of Disease Control.
Who deals with dead
Yeah,
people.
yeah, keep interrupting him.
223% of the time.
That's time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hey, interrupting you makes this room good.
I had that.
Only fun.
Am I done talking today?
You are.
Oh wait, no, you can interrupt his, can't you?
Yeah.
You say it, you know? Unless he has a pretty good rebuttal. I think we already know who won. Nice.
Matt, are you done talking? Yeah, he is.
Alright.
Hey. This is America. You don't like the amendments?
Okay, that's time. Alright, Spencer, you have 2 minutes to rebut and wrap it up.
Although my opponent would like to talk about abortion because he has no facts or logic to back up his claims, I would actually like to talk about guns. Now, you said just last week that you think Ronald Reagan was the best president that we've ever had. Well, I'll tell you what, Ronald Reagan agrees with me. He says that there is no reason we should take away guns for hunting or sporting, but there is a complete and utter
self-defense.
no, and
I
there's
watched the
absolutely
speech for
no,
self-defense.
there is absolutely no need to have an AK-47 to protect your home that is only used in murder and death. Now, I will say, they will have you believe that this is used in self-defense, but the fact is it's not used in self-defense. 22 times more likely to be, a gun is 22 times more likely to be used in a homicide than in self-defense. That's sad. Now, let's go to Canada. Australia. Now, Australia is another example. Australia's former Prime Minister, John Howard, said on an interview with John Oliver that after a mass shooting in Australia, their country was torn apart. Their conservative Prime Minister, something that Americans would never do, their conservative Prime Minister said, you know what, it's time that we stop the carnage. It's time that we stand up for lives. And they instituted serious gun control. And in the meantime, they had 30 mass shootings before that in a decade, and a decade after, they've had 0. Suicide rates have gone down 60%. The fact is gun control works. It saves lives. Now, may I ask you, are there mentally insane people all over the world?
Yeah. That's the
Now,
problem,
there are
not guns.
mentally insane people all over the world, but the fact is that you're not going to always be able to get rid of all those mentally insane people. The fact is, the question I ask you, is it right for a government to arm those insane people? Is it right for a government to hand them a gun and say, do what you may? No. The fact is that it is not worth, if we can save one innocent life, if we can save one child, if we can save one elderly person, if we can save one civilian from being innocently killed, it's worth it.
1927 was the largest massacre, and that was in
Stop
elementary
talking.
school used by TNT.
Sore loser.
The
If
debate
people
is
want to
done.